Liverpool versus Everton in the Merseyside derby this weekend. A huge game for both teams at different ends of the table. Our producer has written this. He says, Thiago, Fabinho, Keita, best Prem midfield three? Discuss. So let's discuss that. Guys, in the comments, let us know. Two questions here for you guys. First of all, are they the best? Is that the best three? Second of all, is that even the three for Liverpool? Is this the end for Henderson, Hugh? What's going on?
I know that's the first sort of eyebrow raiser for me. I think Jordan Henderson is so composed, so experienced now, really good organizer in that midfield, gives absolutely everything. He's just so trustworthy. You just know what you're going to get from him, particularly in those big games. And for me, I'd start him in those big games. But I'm told the Liverpool fans love Naby Keita because, look, for me personally, he does get around the park a little bit more, does have more of an attacking instinct. Maybe that's the difference between him and a Jordan Henderson, who maybe at times is criticised for playing the safer pass or slowing the play down a little bit. I think he's still been absolutely fantastic. Look, there's a great argument actually for either Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson, or Thiago, Fabinho and Keita, to be perfectly honest.
Yes.
Either of those being the best three in terms of the central midfield in the Premier League. I don't know what you think about it. I think Manchester City edge it personally. Rodri, De Bruyne, and if Bernardo Silva plays in that midfield three, I think that's the difference. I think if Bernardo Silva's taken out of the front three, as we've seen over the last few weeks, he's played in that midfield three. I just think there's a little bit more quality, a little bit more of a goal-scoring intent.
Yeah. We're drifting into combined 11 territory here. It's very dangerous.
Yeah,
right.
I was about to say the best midfield three is probably a combination of three of those players from two of the teams.
That is a great question itself, because I'm struggling. I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, I want Thiago. I would pick Fabinho over Rodri, personally.
Same.
And then, well, I want Bernardo Silva and I want De Bruyne, so I can't really fit both of them in. So it's very, very difficult. But I think it's very, very tight. In terms of form right now, I think Thiago is absolutely purring right now. He's my favorite player to watch. It has been for the last couple of years, to be honest. With the passes, the little looks, it's like he's got AirPods in and he's just like listening to like samba music as he sort of trots around the pitch. It's absolutely amazing. And of course, Fabinho playing brilliant stuff as well. But Liverpool in a really, really lovely space right now. So let us know who would you put out of Man City and Liverpool when it comes to the best Premier League midfield three? Because I think it's got to be those two, hasn't it?
So as Everton go into a big Merseyside derby, they are still right in the thick of the relegation battle. They've played 31 games. They've got 29 points. Burnley just a point behind them, but they have played a game more. It's going to go right down to the wire. There have been some positive signs, though, for both clubs over the last few games. I think the return of the likes of Yerry Mina could be huge for Everton. And also Richarlison, who, let's be honest, he's missed some chances, but he has had much more of an effect on games. How do you see their relegation battle going?
I think it's gonna go maybe not to the wire, but to the last couple of games. I think Everton's so odd. You know, they play that game against Man United, great energy about them. Maybe it's more of a signifier of just how bad Man United were. But then they play a Leicester City side who aren't really concentrating on the league, concentrating on Europe. And they should be going and not being as flat as they were in that game. Snuck a draw in the end. They weren't great. But you always know that, especially at Goodison, they've got a chance of picking up points. Absolutely atrocious away from home. I think they've lost 10 of the last 11. 5 of the 8 points they've got away from home came in the first 4 games of the season. So absolutely terrible away from home. And I've said consistently that the games that Burnley have with the run-in, they are games that are winnable for them. I'm looking at this table and I'm thinking 36 points might get you there. Everton have got that game in hand. But the games that they got are really, really difficult. When you look at these fixtures for Everton, is there any way of judging what they can do? I think the other thing, actually, I would like to hear from you, Hugh, is when we talk about personnel for Everton, Dele Alli came on, made a little bit of an impact, but you watch him on the pitch and you think, where does he play, especially if Calvert-Lewin's available? Donny van der Beek's barely played any minutes either. Delph's now come in for that bit of experience. It's still a team that's a bit of a mess. Not much going on with the fullbacks as well. Do they have enough chemistry within this team to get themselves over the line, or are they just hoping that Everton faithful will inspire them enough to get them over the line? How do you see it?
I think what's pretty key is actually that they've been playing their matches ahead of Burnley over the last few weeks. I know that sounds weird, but they've been able to increase the gap a little bit in those results. And maybe they felt a little bit of breathing space, and maybe that has helped them going into their next match. Now things could turn around, actually. Burnley could play Wolves before them, and if they get a positive result, they could go into the Merseyside derby. And let's be perfectly honest, they could be right in it. Their fans feeling the pressure of the fixture, of course, against Liverpool, and also the fact that they could well be in the relegation zone at that point in time, and they will have to play Chelsea and then Leicester again, and who knows, they might still be in the relegation zone. I think they've got good players at Everton. The approach that Frank Lampard's had has been to try and play football and to, get that positive style out of them. That's really why he was brought there. I think over the last few weeks, he's changed that a little bit. He's gone a little bit more pragmatic. His words have been more pragmatic about just getting results and understanding the situation that they are in. They missed a couple of great chances in the game against Leicester City, even though they didn't play well. And that's a positive for them. It's been a positive for Burnley too. They've been missing big chances. That's understandable given that you're at the bottom of the Premier League. But it is a lot better to make them than not be making them. Let's put it that way. I don't see Everton getting any points out of their next 3 games. Then a huge game against Watford where they have to take all 3 points, really. And then the likes of Brentford and Crystal Palace in the run-in. I actually think in the final few games to play a mid-table side, not going for Europe, not in any danger of relegation, could actually be a big positive for Everton. Those are the games that their season will be decided. It's going to be incredibly close. We're going to have to call it in a few weeks, so I'm not going to call it now. But yeah, it's a tough time for Everton. Let us know what you think anyway. Let us know if you think they can stay in the Premier League, or will it be Burnley?
This is really, really frightening, I think, for Everton, surely, especially with their away form. Do you add any weight to the fact that it's a Merseyside derby, so that will tighten it up a little bit, or do you see this being a bit of a massacre?
I actually think Jurgen Klopp will view it as this is a huge derby game. He has seen the intensity. He's complained about the intensity in the past few seasons in this fixture, where there have been injuries for his players, and that will be on his mind, of course. There have been huge tackles flying in, and the results haven't always gone his way. And of course, there's no really margin for error when it comes to the Premier League title for Liverpool. So I think they go with a strong side to make sure they get the job done. Liverpool go 2-0 up, and then you bring players off, I think. Then you can manage the fixture. There'll be a deflated Everton camp, and that's the way that you have to view the game. I just don't see, if you make changes at the start, Everton maybe go a goal ahead from a set piece, whatever it might be. Those tackles will still be flying in. Doesn't matter which 22 players are on the pitch. Everton right up for it because it's a relegation battle. I think that would be the wrong choice from Klopp, and I don't think he would do that anyway.
Yeah, interesting. The more I think about it, I disagree a little bit. I wonder if with that Villarreal game coming up, it might be an opportunity there to use Jota. Obviously, didn't start in the game in midweek. Use Firmino as well. I think Salah will always start every game, and that's absolutely fine, obviously. And actually, in midfield as well, this is a game for James Milner, isn't it? You got Fabian Delph in there, ready to snap people, and maybe there's a safeguarding that needs to be done on certain players to sort of manage it. And I think that's the embarrassment of riches that Liverpool have right now, where everyone's fit, everyone's firing, and everyone's desperate to play. So there could be a few changes there. You expect the back four, of course, to be exactly the same. But I mean, this could get ugly. I've got to be honest. I really do think that Liverpool are in just such an incredible place right now. At Anfield, of course, as well. That makes it even harder for Everton. It's a Liverpool victory for me. You go for a draw or anything? I'm guessing it's a victory for you, surely.
I mean, 6-0 is the record victory in this fixture. And I think that was back in 1935, something like that. I genuinely believe it could happen here. I genuinely believe that records could be broken if Everton are at their worst and Liverpool are at their best. And Liverpool have been at their best over the past few games. They're playing incredibly well. I fear for Everton, but I think just out of pure respect, there are family ties there. They'll keep it to 3 or 4. Going to be a long afternoon, I think, for those Everton fans. Hi, I'm Hugh Woozencroft from ESPN's Football Forecast. Make sure you're subscribed. You can follow all of our predictions throughout the season and get some other great analysis from our big names as well.